What's up, Degenerate Nation? Welcome to the Big Bets on Campus podcast. This is the College Basketball Conference Tournament Betting Preview Part 6. I'm Stuckey. Joining me for today's episode are two of the three-man weave. Going to start off with Kai McKeon, talk some Big East and SEC. And later in the show, I'll be joined by none other than Mr. Jim Root. And we will talk Big West, WAC, and the AAC. And then we will close things out with the remaining, I think, 5 or 6 on tomorrow's episode. All 31 covered. So, all right, but let's start with the SEC. This will take place in Bridgestone Arena in Nashville between March 11th and March 15th. So it kicks off the first round on Wednesday. Second round Thursday, quarters Friday, semi Saturday, and the meaningless championship committee says it's not meaningless, but on Sunday. Looking at the odds, as you might expect, the red-hot Florida Gators are clear favorites. Odds-on favorites here. They are minus 180 at one book that I'm looking at. Mm-hmm. Next up, you have Arkansas 7-1, Alabama 7-1, Tennessee plus 850. Vanderbilt 1,800, Kentucky 35-1. So I will say a couple thoughts for me that jump right out. Kentucky at 35-1 is insane. They play on Wednesday. They got to win 5 games in 5 games, 5 games in 5 days. I have them at like. Let me see what I have them at. I would need to consider betting Kentucky. I need 100-1 to like start thinking about it. So yeah, people love betting Kentucky, which is why it's 35-1, right? And there's a lot of Kentucky fans. And but go ahead, what were we gonna say?
Yeah, I see 40-1 at Caesars too. Still not enough, but you can get Mizzou at 100-1, who is a round ahead of Kentucky
and won at Kentucky.
Yeah, and beat Florida this year.
And beat Florida. Yeah. It's interesting. Florida. So. I will say Florida at minus 180. No
chance. No. Absolutely not.
I make them like even money. So no, that's ridiculous. Florida's a juggernaut, especially when they're making their threes. And look, they're not really. They got some overdue 3-point regression. I think over the past month, since February 1st, they're shooting like 38% from three. They're not that good of a 3-point shooting team, but they weren't as bad as they were before. Mm-hmm. You know, like Boogie Flan shooting 50%, Lee can't miss, Klatcher. I mean, they're all making threes now. But they don't shoot a ton of threes. They don't give up a ton of threes. But, you know, they're running at like a plus 8 to 10% net delta over the past month. So the way that they go down is if they have, you know, someone goes off from three, you're not going to consistently score against them. Mm-hmm. And then that prevents like transition, right? It's like a two-way. And so that's like, so who can make that happen? Like what you have to do against Florida, you can't let them get out in transition. And you have to be able to defend somewhat at the rim. And then you're just going to have to make threes, even though they don't give up a ton. And their scout is always so good. But so I do think at the moment, I mean, Florida's peaked out. I mean, they're winning every game by double digits. What's interesting, though, is Kentucky played in the single digits twice. Granted, pretty misleading. Florida was in control most of the way. But Missouri beat them. Vanderbilt took them to the wire. And then, like, everyone in the bottom half, they just destroyed. So, like, there is some intriguing teams in the top half. Missouri, they have a really good rim D, which is you need against Florida, but their transition D isn't great. They'll turn it over. So, like, on paper, I don't love Missouri. Kentucky will also, like, we've seen it. Like, and they're going to be playing the third game in 3 days. Tennessee, on paper, you say, okay, like if you go like Synergy, they're 96th percentile in transition D. Now they allow more transition than they usually do, but you go back to that game against Florida where they got destroyed. Florida had 27 transition possessions, scored at like 1.7 points per possession. And the reason is because Tennessee had 1 million turnovers, and that's what they'll do, and you cannot do that against Florida. And Rick Barnes says Nate Ament is going to play, but we don't know how healthy he'll be, how much he'll give it a go, and I'm sure they don't want to push him. you know, for 3-4 games. So maybe his on a minutes restriction. We'll see. We don't know how healthy he is. So the most interesting case for me is Vanderbilt, who's 18-1. Tennessee is 8-1. Tennessee has to play an extra game against either Auburn or Mississippi State. Vanderbilt and Tennessee, I have power rated close,
Mhm.
and Vanderbilt's been very unlucky from three both ways over the past month. They got Duke Miles back. Now, can they beat Florida? Look, they're not. They'll get destroyed inside, destroyed on the glass. They're not a great transition D. How do they beat them? Outscore them. Hope
Yeah.
Florida's off, and so I think Vanderbilt's. I have them at like 11%. Like so, getting 18-1. I think disrespectful to Vandy in Nashville. That's probably the only team that I would look at in the top half. What are your thoughts on the top half?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Mizzou. I have no idea what to do. Mizzou. I went to Mizzou.
Mizzou and Kentucky
and
are two.
I can't.
How do you feel? Like, what are you getting on a
Yeah.
game by game basis?
Can't predict it one way or the other. I agree with Vanderbilt if you're looking for top half because you mentioned it's in Nashville. Like that's a it's not meaningless. They're going to have the crowd there on their side, of course, and they're just really well coached. I love Mark Byington. He's going to throw in some funky zone looks against Florida, and they played him close. They have the better backcourt. Tyler Tanner is going to be the best guard in the game. Duke Miles is excellent. I think they have a real chance. And again, Florida could lose to Mizzou. Mizzou's beat them a couple times when Todd Golden's there. They might just have a weird matchup edge against Florida that we can't really see. And Mark Mitchell's a matchup problem for everybody. Their physicality really bothered the Gators in game one.
Yeah, they do have a good interior rim D.
They do. And Sean Phillips, he's an idiot, but he can play defense sometimes at the rim. I would look at Vanderbilt or Missouri second just because of Mizzou's price at 100-1.
All right, moving to that. I guess the other games worth mentioning: Auburn, Mississippi State. I mean, Mississippi State's in free fall mode. It's basically like Josh Hubbard trying to go for 60. But Auburn has been an absolute mess, and they're not even. Did they need? If they lose this game, they're out.
For sure.
If they win it, are they in?
No, I don't think so. But I can see them winning this game, beating Tennessee, and you start getting the narratives going again. And Bruce Pearl's weighing in for his son, of course. They're 250-1. I see them winning a couple games, beating Tennessee. I don't think they'd be in still, even with 2 wins. No team's ever gotten that large of 16 losses. That's where Auburn would be. But you're going to hear a lot of narrative for sure.
It's a team that there's just something off with them. Like
Coach.
Yeah, the coach, but like you had the whole Hall situation, and there's the vibes are way off with Auburn, and yeah, obviously the coaching is not great. Moving to the bottom half, you had Texas lose to Oklahoma, which means they have to play in the first round against Ole Miss. Oklahoma, who, I mean, you got to give credit to Porter. I mean, this is a team they lost, 9 in a row? And then they closed the year on a 4-game winning streak. They beat Auburn at home. They won at LSU. They beat Missouri at home. They won at Texas. They also won at Vandy and handily beat Georgia. So they finished 4-2. One of the losses was like a coin flip against Texas A&M, and they got blown out at Tennessee. So they closed the year really strong. They have shot making. They have a really good backcourt that can play against anyone. They'll start off against South Carolina and then play Texas A&M if they win that game. And then you have Arkansas. Texas A&M started off hot. They kind of faltered since beginning of February. They really stopped turning over teams. I think the league has adjusted to buckyball a bit.
Yeah.
And then you have Arkansas, who obviously has an elite backcourt with their freshman duo in Thomas and Acuff. But Acuff, how much are they going to push him?
Mm-hmm.
They don't have a ton of depth. I would think that they'd probably be smarter to make sure that he's fully healthy for the NCAA tournament. So there's that question there as well. And then above that, you have Georgia and Alabama. Georgia will play the winner of Texas Ole Miss. If they win that, they'll get Alabama. Still don't trust Alabama. I don't think Alabama can beat Florida. If they got there.
Yeah, too soft.
And Yeah, way too soft. Their defense is not good enough. Now, Georgia has played well of late. Their offense is on fire, but they're shooting 42% from three since February 1st.
Mhm.
Like, there's some potential looming regression there. So, a lot of questions in the bottom half. No one really I'm interested in, even though that's the half where you don't have to face Florida and you
Mhm.
hope, that if you're building a case for someone, it's someone that you like, and then you hope you build a case that someone can pick off Florida, as we just talked about. But no one I'm really interested in. I mean, Arkansas, if I knew they were fully healthy, knew they were a full go, would potentially be intriguing to me. But Arkansas, Alabama would be a shootout. Georgia, Alabama. I mean, you're talking about games that were 90s, 100s. So, what are your thoughts
Mhm.
on the bottom half in any of those teams?
Yeah, I think it has to be Alabama or Arkansas if you're taking a future. I think OU's been hot as hell, 6-2 over the last eight. They have great guards, but they have the five games in 5 days. I don't think they're gonna make a run. The Acuff injury worries me. I don't see why Calipari would push that to win an SEC tournament. I think he wants to make sure he's healthy. Malik Thomas is amazing as he showed against Mizzou, but I think you need Acuff to win the SEC tournament. And I like Alabama's odds are longer, right, than Arkansas's, and I think Alabama's right there with them in terms of strength. And if you take Alabama, yeah, you have to get some help from the upper half of the bracket because I don't think they can beat Florida at all. But I'm not looking anywhere else in the bottom half of the bracket. It's Alabama or it's Arkansas. The Acuff injury makes me lean Alabama.
Yeah, I would tend to agree. I mean, there's always a chance that, I mean, Florida just, their scout is so good and they're going to get every rebound and dominate them inside. There's always a chance that Alabama could go like 19 of
Yeah,
39 from three,
BYU
right?
game. Yeah.
Beat anybody. Um, but they were dismantled by Florida in the first meeting. Granted, that was in Gainesville. Yeah, so for me, it's I'll have something on Vandy at 18-1. I think that's it's not the greatest matchup against Florida, but um, it's a team that's been unlucky from three. Florida's been a bit lucky, so maybe you hit some of that regression, or maybe Missouri or Kentucky takes out Florida. You never know. I just show value in that number. It won't be easy to beat Tennessee. Oh, quick revenge, but we don't know if Amen is healthy. They'll already have played a game, and I think that'll be close to a coin flip game.
Yep,
So,
I'm with you. It's Vandy at that price, or again, if you want to take a flyer, Mizzou 100-1 would be my flyer.
all right, let's move on to the Big East tournament, which will take place in the world's most famous arena, Madison Square Garden. Take place between, when's this kickoff? March 11th, starts Wednesday, goes till Saturday. First round, looking at the odds, I'm a bit surprised at the odds. Like, so here at one book, UConn is plus 110, St. John's is plus 170. I would have those odds right around there if this wasn't played at the Garden. Like this, I think
Mhm.
that's if I'm assuming zero home court. So I think there's a little bit of value in St. John's at that number over UConn. I can't get to UConn at even money playing in the Garden. And then you have Villanova at plus 550. No thanks. I'd need 10-1 there. I think they miss Hodge. Obviously, like a high variance team they play, so they're going to shoot a ton of threes.
Mhm.
But Seton Hall 16-1, Creighton 40-1, Marquette 70-1, and then you get down into some longer shots. A couple things worth mentioning. There's the potential. Let's start at the very top. There's the potential we get Providence St. John's, which would be amazing in the Garden after their melee in round two. That would be awesome. Do we get that? I don't know. Because you look at Providence and Butler. Number one, you never know who's going to play for Providence, but Providence, an electric offense. Their offense can score on anybody. They cannot defend worth a lick. They played Butler twice this year. They lost in double overtime, and they won in double overtime.
Yep.
So that's a true coin flip game. Butler Look, they've had some injuries this year. They lost Robinson. They lost what's his name early in the year, Jackson, to a
Mhm.
season-ending injury. They can't really shoot, but they also haven't been able to make a three in forever. And I will say, since February 1st, Providence is running at like a plus 14% three-point delta, like shooting like 40%. Teams can't make one, and they can't defend. So if you're looking for a three-point variance, playing a coin flip, that might get Butler over the hump there. Butler will shoot a million free throws against that Providence D.
Mhm.
They'll go to the line like 50, especially if they're calling it tight. But the Providence offense, they have high upside because their offense is so good. I mean, you look, they won at St. John's. They should have beat UConn. But it's also a team because they don't defend, they can lose to anybody. So good luck figuring that game out. Do you have any thoughts on? And like, I don't think Butler can beat UConn, but like
No.
Providence has the offensive upside at least. And UConn is just they're a bizarre team. I've never they were trending towards a one. I think they lost it now. But talk about a vulnerable one or two seed.
Very, very
This is the
vulnerable.
team. I mean, they lost at home to Creighton. They beat Villanova at home in overtime. They beat Providence in overtime. You can go back. They beat Georgetown by two. They barely beat Providence. They barely beat Georgetown at home. They just lost to Marquette. It's not a locked in,
Mhm.
like focused Hurley team. And there's there's issues. They take too many bad shots. They don't force turnovers and foul too much. They turn the ball over too much. Like it's so like the metrics are good, but there's issues and like Reed will get in foul trouble and there's just something that's off with UConn. Any thoughts on that top half pod?
Yeah, well, first of all, Providence, they feel kind of like a dead team to me with Kim
Yeah.
English, the media out there that he's not coming back next season. He's saying weird quotes like "There's war going on. Why does basketball matter?" So I think Providence is drawing dead.
Are you going to look
Prefer
at Butler in the first round? I'm interested in Butler.
Yeah, I prefer Butler. Yeah, and recent form Butler's been tough. They winning at DePaul is not that shabby anymore. they they handled it at DePaul. So yeah, I like Butler in game one. I don't think they're going past St. John's. I think St. John's is winning it because I don't like UConn's current form. I didn't like the loss to Marquette.
Oh,
Hurley
that's
might
what I meant.
be.
I meant that I don't think Butler can beat St. John's, not UConn. Sorry.
Oh yeah. So I do like St. John's, especially at the odds compared to UConn. Yeah, even money for UConn versus plus 170 for St. John's at the Garden. That's intriguing. Seton Hall and Creighton don't scare me. Not betting on Villanova. It's literally the top two. It was a horrible league all season. It's a two-team race all year. I think it's St. John's tournament.
Yeah, Seton. I mean, then you go to Seton Hall, Creighton. All of these first round matchups that we know already in the Big 12 were like, you look at the regular season series, they're all splits. I mean, Seton Hall lost at Creighton improbably. They led by 10 with like three to go. I think they lost on a buzzer beater. It was a crazy buzzer beater. Uh, and then in the first game, Creighton blew a huge second half lead, and Seton Hall came back and won by two. Both of those games were coin flips. On paper, it's not the best matchup for Seton Hall. I know that Creighton takes away the three, and I mean, look, Creighton's super soft inside. There's no Kalkbrenner anymore, but
Hmm.
they're good on the defensive glass and they don't foul. And that's like the two routes to any offense for Seton Hall because they cannot shoot.
No.
They can't shoot a lick. And then, on the other end, you need to make threes against Seton Hall. Creighton's going to fire them up. I I really don't know who's going to win that game, but I don't think like Seton Hall could beat St. John's if they made threes, and that's like a 10% outlier event, right? Like
Hmm.
if they did that against UConn and we're right there, but it's like happens once a month. There's a team that won a game recently where they went 0 of 18 from three.
Yeah.
So, and Creighton has some weird wins. Like Creighton won at Nova and at UConn, which I don't understand. But yeah, I think the Johnnies who ran through this tournament last year, all their wins by double digits. Creighton took care of UConn for them, and then they blew out Creighton in the final. I think St. John's is getting through to the championship. You would agree there?
Yeah, definitely. I like Creighton's offense better in a tournament setting than Seton Hall's toughness. I think to win, Against St. John's, you have to hit shots, and that's Creighton. They can get hot, and in tournament setting, that definitely favors them.
Bottom half, you have Marquette and Xavier. Marquette is playing really good basketball of late.
Much better. Yep.
Since February 1st, I think they're like a top 40-ish team. I mean, this is a team that was a disaster early on, led by Nigel James, a very electric and promising freshman point guard. This is a young team. Like if they can keep this team intact, they they have some young pieces. I know Gold and Ross will be gone, but like Owens and then their backcourt of Stevens and James.
Mhm.
And they've figured out some things. Their defense has been playing really well. Now, no one's made a shot against them, which has helped from three, but yeah, they've played really well since it was a disaster, basically through that game where they started to turn around when they beat Providence in overtime in like mid January, and they obviously have capped it off with a blowout win at Providence by 22, and then they upset UConn at home. It did help that UConn was 3 of 24 from
A
three,
little bit.
but you can't argue that they're playing better. They want to force turnovers, pretty soft inside, can't rebound, but they're feisty, and Shaka's always feisty as a dog. They'll play Xavier first in the regular season. You guessed it, they split. Xavier at home won 96 to 88, and then at home Marquette won 66 to 65. Although they controlled that game for the most part, blew a big lead, and then won late. What's noteworthy with Xavier, electric offense. They're similar to Providence in that their offense is really good. Not as high of an upside, I don't think, as Providence, but their offense is really good. Their defense is horrendous. I mean, it is bad, bad. Trey Carroll, who's an electric, I think he got first team All Big East. He didn't play in the regular season finale, blowout loss at Nova. Barely played against Seton Hall. He has a hip issue, and Uh, Patino said he's hopeful that he plays. If he doesn't play, that's a big loss for them. But they have scores and they can score with teams. The problem is they can't get stops. They'll be dogs against Marquette. Recent form and health says Marquette gets that done. Would you agree?
Yeah, I agree. If Carroll's healthy, I think Xavier's a tough matchup for them just because they can handle the ball. Marquette kind of thrives off turnovers
Fair.
and they can shoot. If you're looking for a regression game, Xavier's number one 3-point shooting team in the Big East this year. But Carroll's so important. You look at the CBB analytics on-off numbers; they're huge, especially on defense, which is
He's like their
worrisome.
only defender that you want.
Yeah. How much worse can they be on defense? They're already the worst defense in the league by a long shot. If he's out, it's definitely Marquette.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, they basically have like two plus defenders. Um, but Carroll, yeah, they have some bad defenders on that team. Moving on the rest of the bracket, DePaul, Georgetown. I mean, DePaul you got to give credit to Holtman. They're feisty. There's a team that plays hard. They closed out the year with two double-digit losses to Villanova and Butler, which was disappointing. They had a chance to get a bye if they closed out the year strong, but limited upside on offense. Defense is pretty good. Their rim D, the interior D is pretty legit, and they'll fight. Offense is pretty ugly. They can't shoot. They turn it over too much. They'll play Georgetown. They won the first meeting 56 to 50 at home when Georgetown scored like, I don't know, 8 points in the second half or something. They made like one shot. And then in the second meeting, you guessed it, they split. Like all these teams split. Noteworthy with Georgetown is KJ Lewis, who's very good, is out for the year. So, any thoughts on Georgetown, DePaul?
Slightly in DePaul just because of the Lewis injury. But Georgetown's kind of a whack-a-mole team too, one that's tough to get right. They have random games they play awesome, like the Creighton overtime game we talked about, the Connecticut 2-point loss. That was a while ago. I actually played Connecticut close twice. I think DePaul can hang around, especially their dog. It's probably going to be closer to pick with Lewis injury. slightly towards the Demons.
I would tend to agree. Uh, Winner gets Nova. Can either one of them beat Nova? Probably not.
Georgetown, maybe. I
Georgetown's
think
a weird team.
Nova's too fundamentally sound, too well coached. They're not like out athlete you or out talent you type of team, especially UConn St. John's, but they're really, really solid, really high floor.
Yeah. And then Nova, UConn. Nova did take them to overtime in stores and then got blown out at home. I guess if Nova went nuts from three, but I just need a better price than 5-1 for them to
Hmm.
win 3 games in 3 days. Presumably one against UConn, one against St. John's. No Matt Hodge. I think they miss him. Who's
Yeah,
out.
he matters. Yeah, they're thin up front. Yeah,
So, and that would hurt against UConn and St. John's in particular. So, yeah, I think we're getting chalk. I think we're getting St. John's UConn part three, which would be
hmm
awesome.
yep,
And I do hope for viewing purposes we get St. John's Providence because that would be fun.
agreed,
But
agreed.
I might bet Butler. Um, and yeah, you're gonna have a lot of coin flip games outside of the top the top of the league because this was an ugly year in the Big East.
Mm.
And I think that St. At plus 170, I think the only thing that I could look at is St. John's plus 170 playing in the
Yep.
Garden, and I I like their path and like UConn. Like if it's UConn St. John's, I'd be happy to have a plus 170 at home in the Garden in the final.
Yeah,
But
for sure.
UConn has shown that they're and like the other team, the third best team is Villanova. So and UConn has shown that like they will just have these random games where they just are they it doesn't matter who they're playing, they'll be in the game and they just now it might be it's probably less likely because after that loss to Marquette, right, Hurley will probably have them focused
Oh
and
yeah. If he's not suspended for game one, we'll see.
that's fair too. So
Bumping the ref.
yeah, but yeah, I think the values of St. John's. I don't have any interest in any of the long shots. You
I
agree?
agree. Yeah, St. John's are nothing for me in this tournament. Yeah.
All right, good stuff, Kai. All right, it's time to bring in none other than my guy, Jim Root from the Three Man Weave. Kai and I just talked about the Big East and the ACC, and now Jim and I are going to dive into the Big West, the American, and the WAC. And I am so excited to have you here for these because one of my favorite parts about non-high major college basketball is, unique teams, unique styles, unique schemes, and especially in the Big West and the WAC. Oh man, we have very, very distinct profiles, teams of extremes, fascinating leagues to dive into. And we'll get into the American as well. No odds out yet. Those games just ended. We'll kind of do that on the fly, maybe just discuss who's worth a look. I doubt we'll have odds by the time we record that, I think it's the same every year. I know that did Tulsa hold on? Yeah, Tulsa held on. So we'll know the seeding. Memphis won. Memphis is going to get in. They almost missed the tournament. They won an
Congrats to
overtime.
Memphis with the most resources in the league. You managed to make the top 10 of the American. Way to go.
Unbelievable. But let's start with the Big West in Vegas, 8 teams. That means Bakersfield, Riverside, and Long Beach are out. And your top 2 seeds get, and look, there's not much. This is the deepest I can ever remember the Big West. Like, I'm super excited. Like, anyone can beat anybody. But that makes the advantage of the double bye to the semis even more important because there wasn't a lot separating all of these teams. Irvine gets it. They finished the top of the league, and then Hawaii had a bad loss to Long Beach State to close the year, but they were locked in as the top 2 seed. They're the 2 seed. Your 3-4 are Fullerton and Northridge, have a ton of similarities in team profile, which we'll get into. And then the teams that have to play in the first round, the Tritons of UC San Diego, they'll play Cal Poly, and then UC Davis will take on UC Santa Barbara. From an odds perspective, UC Irvine, I'm around plus 145. Hawaii plus 190. UC San Diego plus 750. UC Santa Barbara 10 to 1. Northridge 12 to 1. Fullerton 16 to 1. So let's my to run if people that aren't familiar with some of these teams, I mean, like a quick rundown. UCI elite 2-point defense as always, as they always do. Kyle Evans is their man inside this year. Their tree. But their offense is pretty ugly. I mean, they got a freshman point guard duo. They'll turn it over a bunch. But their defense is elite as always. Hawaii, an extreme no help defense. They got a 7-footer at the rim. Their point guard play is pretty shaky, and they can't really shoot. I mean, they've been the worst of the 8 teams since February 1st. 201st.
Damn it! I was all ready to reveal that stat, and you're all over it.
Sorry, I don't want to take your thunder. So I'll stop there because I don't want to ruin any of the preparation you did, and I'll ramble for days. I've just got done. I'm delirious. I've done this for all 365 teams over the past week. So I guess let's start high level. And do you think that there's do you have a take on who the clear best team is?
Not really, because I had an Irvine regular season future, and they drove me nuts with some bad losses. And to your point, anybody in this league, like they had the perfect format for dropping the worst 3 teams, because this league had 8 pretty good teams and 3 terrible ones, and it worked out very well for them to end up like that. I mean, Irvine's defense is always there, but they have not been overly successful in the Big West tournament under Russ Turner. He's a fantastic coach, consistent every year, but like not a Big West tournament dominant team. So I like the defense. I thought Sarin, the boomerang transfer that spent a year at Stanford, would be a lot better than he's been. He's been pretty inefficient. But then Hawaii, I cannot believe they lost to Long Beach State to lose a chance to share the title. They lost
a dead team, a corpse of a Long Beach team.
Yep. I think it's Tanner Cuff got hurt in the preseason. They were going to use him as like a point forward, and that really threw off their approach this season. And still were very good because they're huge in the front court, and they have that great scheme, kind of the Randy Bennett tree for Aaron Ganot, the coach. But then beyond that, man, it is kind of a choose your own adventure, pick your flavor. UC San Diego, the 5 seed's been the best team since February 1st on the flip side of that Hawaii stat. And they have to win 4 in 4 days, whereas the worst team since February 1st has to win 2 in 2 days. So it's kind of topsy-turvy, and it gives, I think, a nice open to interpretation thing. Like if you like a team or you like odds, it may not line up here. So I'm kind of having a hard time with this one, Stuck. I like Irvine, but I don't know if I love plus 145.
No, I can't get there at that price. I will say my take, I'm going to bet them just because this has been my take all year, is at full strength. Santa Barbara is the best team.
Yep. Miro Little, your boy.
Miro Little came back. Yeah. And if you look in January when he played, this is a top 50 team in the month of January. They did shoot 42% from 3, but he's their him on the ball allows Mahaney to go off the ball. Everything else falls in place. He's their best perimeter defender by a mile. And everything else locks into place. This is also, you want to talk about a team that they have an elite catch and shoot offense when they're at full strength. Play slow. I'm glad that he got a game under his belt. That's what I wanted to see. I didn't want him to come back, in the tournament for the first time. They've also been extremely unlucky of late. I mean, they lost to UC San Diego at the bell. They lost to Irvine by, I think, a possession before then. They lost to Hawaii on the road in overtime. They lost to CSUN in overtime by 2. So they got really unlucky down the stretch. I think at full strength, they're the best offense, and they're the best overall team. Now, it's not ideal, the path, but I make them it's hard to, because with Little, the sample size isn't huge, and they did shoot 42% from 3, but the numbers that I use, I make them like 10%, even though that they win 4. So at 10 to 1, like I'm going to throw a little bit on it. I will say, like, looking at the other teams, Fullerton and Northridge, I would need 20-1, and Northridge is at 12-1. Fullerton's at 16-1. They're pretty similar. I mean, Fullerton is very small. They're fast. They just hunt transition, but they'll shoot. They have a very compact defense. They're a 3-point variance team. They're turnover margin kings. Northridge is the second fastest team in the country. They're fast, but they have not been the same team away from home. 348th per Haslametrics. Whereas Fullerton, so both of them are like compact defenses because they don't have rim protection. Fullerton will shoot threes. Northridge is just get to the rim at all costs, like just at all costs. They also cannot shoot free throws. Northridge, keep that in mind if you bet Northridge. They are one of the worst free throw shooting teams in the country. They are very good on the glass, but Northridge and Fullerton are like have a ton of similarities. And then you have Cal Poly, who's the fastest team in the country. Northridge is the second fastest. They jack threes. They'll turn it over. They play chaos games. They're fun to watch.
They're like the live betting king, Cal Poly
Yes.
games.
Go on, big runs in their games. And then you have one of the other reasons that I like Santa Barbara is they'll start with UC Davis. Now, UC Davis swept them in the regular season, but one of them was in February and McGee and Little didn't play. And then the other one was on January 8th, and that was Little's first game back. But the reason that I like this matchup here, now that UC Santa Barbara is at full strength, I think Cooper's done for the year for UC Davis. So that's huge. And he was big against Santa Barbara this year. So I don't think UC Davis can be at full strength. So I like Santa Barbara in that game. But that's my take. I think Santa Barbara's the best team. Their path isn't easy. I needed at least 10-1 to even think about it. It's out there. That's who I'm playing. But this could go a million different ways. It's one of the tournaments that I'm looking forward to the most.
Yeah, and it's always in that. It's in the. I think it used to be called the Dollar Loan Center in Henderson. It always felt as Lee's Family Forum. That's what it's called. It just kind of feels like a chaos venue too when I watch games there. And it's super late night. The Big West Finals always like really late on Saturday night.
So it'll
to your
start
point
at
on
11
UC.
Eastern. Yeah.
Yep. To your point on UC Santa Barbara's path, I like that they are not on UC San Diego's side and they're not on Irvine's side because I think those are like in a vacuum the two best teams, not by head and shoulders or anything, or at least outside of Santa Barbara. And Santa Barbara has probably the most talent. Pasternak's been really good at the portal. I don't know if they've got money or what it is, but they bring in some really productive guys. I mean, Mahaney, getting him to come back west, Little from the Big 12. Katenge was awesome at Louisiana before he got hurt last year. So the talent is really, really good on that team. And if they have to win 4 in 4 days, Davis, Fullerton, and Hawaii, who, as we mentioned, just has not really been that good for a team that's seeded that highly. That's not the worst 4 days or 4 games in 4 days path. So I buy it. I'm not like a giant Pasternak fan in terms of maximizing his talent, but the roster is there and that side of the bracket is softer. Like UC San Diego might intrigue me 4 in 4, but I wish they were on Hawaii's side instead of Irvine's. So yeah, you could probably talk me into that Santa Barbara being the best value there.
All right. Yeah, I think that's all. Let me see. Let me look at one final thing. Barbara in the regular season. One thing I'll mention with UC San Diego, yes, they've been the best teams in February, but no one can make a three against them. It's worth noting because the teams will shoot a lot. I think their teams are shooting 29% since February 1st. But Barbara, if they win, they get Fullerton. And man, that would be a fun watch. They won by 14 in one of the games and then lost another by 11, and they didn't have Little for either, for what it's worth.
Yeah.
And then against Hawaii, they lost without Little. They just lost on the road by 3 in overtime. And then with Little, they destroyed them at home, for what it's worth. They were up 20 with like 5 to go, won by 15. All right. Any other thoughts?
I don't think so. I mean, yeah, I guess we talked a little bit about Hawaii and Irvine, the two top teams, but the price, like even for only having to win two in 2 days, you're plus 145, less than 2 to 1 on Hawaii. That's not overly appealing to me. You could just bet them money line or because you don't know who they're going to play. So yeah,
But
I
none
can't
of the
really buy
spreads are
into the
going to be
top teams.
huge. Like these spreads are all going
Yep,
to be
exactly.
um, very close. All right, let's move on to the WAC. Phew. This league is something.
The
Uh,
wild, wild whack, man. There's so many little ins and outs with this conference right now.
it's insane. So Utah Valley is the 1 seed. They'll get a double bye to the semis. Cal Baptist is the 2 seed. They also get a double bye to the semis. This tournament, by the way, will start on Wednesday. It will all take place at Orleans Arena in Paradise, Nevada. The playing game is Abilene Christian Tarleton, or the first round game. Winner will play Utah Tech. Other quarterfinal on Thursday. The other quarterfinal game is UT Arlington Southern Utah. Winner of Utah T Arlington Southern Utah will play Utah Valley, and then Abilene Christian Tarleton. Winner will go to Utah Tech. Winner of that game plays Cal Baptist. From an odds perspective, Utah Valley's minus 115. I actually think that's fair. That's like kind of what I make it. Usually with these favorites, I always think that they're way beyond. I don't see any value in it, but I'm pretty close. Cal Baptist is plus 190. UT Arlington is plus 850. Utah Tech 14 to 1. Tarleton 22 to 1. Abilene 35 to 1. All right, where do we start? Utah Valley is the best team, although they're not the same away from home. Like they were super dominant at home. They got a really beneficial call against Utah Tech. Probably should have lost that game. But Jackson Holcomb's awesome. They're elite at the rim both ways. They can be turned over. They'll miss some free throws. Did Hendrickson? Their two best.
Hendricks didn't come back. Yeah, he's missed the last three, and I think that matters a decent amount. Like the spacing around their incredible paint play. You want that guy because they don't have a lot of shooting. They're 319th and 3-point attempt rate. He is the clear like on the court to shoot guy, and if he's not in there, it makes it a lot tougher. There's not a ton of information out there on him. I don't know for sure if he's going to play or not, but that's at least worth like a little bit of a discount to them in my mind.
Elsewhere, Cal Baptist was second favorite. They also the double bye. It's Dom Daniels pick and roll. Like they're good rebounders. They have an elite defense. They play really slow. Their offense is pretty ugly. They want to attack the rim, but not that efficiently. It's all about Dom Daniels. Like for example, against Utah Valley, if that ends up being the final, in order to beat Utah Valley at home earlier this year, Cal Baptist needed overtime, and they needed 47 from Daniels in that game.
Nobody else had more than 7 on their team. It's absurd.
Yeah. So it's all about Dom Daniels. Can he lead this team? Can he put the team on his back and win 2 games? He could. But that's what you need to know about them. Utah Tech, it's a pretty solid offense. Trujillo, Potter, they can score. They're the shooters of the league. They can't rebound. They can't defend at the rim. They ran pretty lucky from 3, I thought, this year defensively.
Yeah.
And so maybe there's some regression there. UT Arlington. UT Arlington is basically Cal Baptist, except they don't have Dom Daniels, and their offense is even uglier. They cannot shoot. Cannot shoot a lick. One of the ugliest shooting teams you'll see. But like
you want to talk running well from 3 defensively too. Like number 1 in the country, 3-point percentage defense.
Yes. They need to score like off turnovers or at the rim. They profile very similar to Cal Baptist, but just uglier offense and no Dom Daniels. Southern Utah, they have some guys who can score, like Baroha, Hayhurst, but they play no defense, none. The major turnover issues. They play really fast. This is a league of extremes, and the 2 most extreme teams are Abilene and Tarleton, who will start off the tournament playing each other. Abilene plays complete chaos ball. I mean, it's either a free throw or a steal, and they get to the line or they steal the ball. They do nothing else well. And then Tarleton, another casting. They don't play any defense. They want to try to steal it. They are an intriguing team. Like they have the coach with Gillespie, who's no longer coaching them. They've had guys hurt in and out of the lineup all year. Dior Johnson, Hicks. I mean, all of them. Their entire roster is in flux. They play games. I think they're gonna be fully healthy here. Um, on paper, do they have the most talent? Maybe.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, the worst seed in the tournament. You could make that argument has the most talent. But yeah, like all season you didn't know who was going to play, and McDowell's the one that's been out the last 6 games, 7 games,
I'm
and
hearing
he's
he's good
really
to go,
good.
but
Is he? Okay. I mean, he's really good too. He and Dior Johnson are like, if you just put everybody in this league in a gym, it's like Dom Daniels and those two are the 3 best players probably.
yeah. Tarleton is a frustrating team to watch. I mean, look, they'll turn it over all the time. They'll force turnovers. They go to the line a ton. They foul a ton. I mean, you go back and look at they never take threes. There'll be zero threes in their game, and they don't shoot any. Tarleton, Abilene is just complete chaos ball. I mean, there's going to be a ton of turnovers, a ton of free throws, horrendous shooting. But I might make my annual donation on Tarleton.
I made a donation on them in the regular season, betting
Oh,
on the
did you?
talent. I sure did. Oh yeah, we didn't even mention this league played a triple round robin. So everybody's played
Yes.
each other 3 times already. So like there's tons of familiarity. You can go find a result that backs up your narrative probably in any of the matchups. Like everybody, there's not a lot of triple sweeps that happened in this league. So to add to the chaos ball of just Abilene and Tarleton, the whole league's got it.
Yeah. Do you have any takes on the middle? Uh, I mean, could you get Cal Baptist? Do you agree? I disagree with anything I said. Any takes on UT Arlington, Southern Utah?
No, I think you kind of hit like the team style, the team type. I have a little probably more intrigue about Utah Tech than you do. I think they're not great in the shot volume department because they can't rebound and they don't force turnovers, but they can really shoot. They're big. Like you'd think this team's like tiny because they're a bunch of shooters, but nobody's smaller than 6'4" plays in the rotation. They're pretty switchable defensively. They've got some like Potter's actually he's a Utah Valley transfer, so like within the conference they were a factory of bigs. He went south to join Utah Tech, and they were in the mix for the title up until the last 2 games. They lost their rivalry game against Southern Utah because those two schools are really close, and then lost in double overtime to Utah Valley on the final day of the season. I kind of think they've got a little bit more upside. Like I really like Trujillo, the JUCO guard. He's kind of an MFer in my mind, like big shot maker. Has played in big games before. So 14-1 for them to win 3 in 3 days. That at least interests me. I like that they're on Cal Baptist side, not Utah Valley side, because if you just shut down Tom Daniels, you got a chance. But so Utah Tech was the one odds wise that jumped out to me.
Will you be donating on Tarleton? And do you
I
discourage
think
me for doing it? I
no.
was
I
hoping to
think
get a 50-1.
if you're telling me that McDowell's going to play, then I probably have to put in a little bit. It's also like if I don't do it and they go on a run, I'll feel so stupid. Like, well, I knew they were the most talented team in the league, and there's 7 teams. Why not take the flyer? So, yeah, we'll make our donation and move along.
All right, let's move on to the American. All right, let's talk a little American. 10 teams naked. Memphis just snuck in. Rice, ECU, and UTSA did not make the cut. The 10 teams this week take place in Birmingham. First round on Wednesday, all the way through to the championship on Sunday. South Florida and Wichita get quadruple buys to the semis. They only have to win 2 games in 2 days, Saturday and Sunday. UAB and Tulsa get buys to the quarterfinals on Friday. This league, I mean, this league is hard to crack. I mean, how in the world is Charlotte the 5 seed? I have no idea. They're complete snails. They do have good depth. They have good size, but they're shot volume losers. Mingo running pick and roll, and they also have some injuries. I don't know how they're the 5 seed, and FAU has to play on day one. And coming into this, I guess we'll start at the top. The clear best team is USF. They're the most complete. Isaiah Nelson is just he should be the conference player of the year. A nonstop motor on him. They're only they've only lost once in regulation and league play. Their only other loss since December 1st was at Bama. Enos has been an incredible find for them. Pinion provides shooting. They play super fast, up and down. I mean, they're the best team in the league. And if they win this conference, they're a threat to pull off a game.
Yeah, they're super talented. Coached by a Nate Oates, like disciple in Hodgson. Got a bunch of really like they got Damian Nelson is like a backup big man, or Damian Collins, excuse me. He was at Kentucky and LSU, and he's just a backup behind Nelson because they're so talented. They're deep. They got like 3 Canadian freshmen that get in the rotation, can get up and down with them too. They play a ton of bench minutes. It's why they're like they overwhelm people when they play fast. And as you mentioned, they've lost 2 games in overtime in league play and once by 1. Like they've lost by a combined 5 points in 3 league games, and they're that close to 18-0. Early on, I was frustrated with them because I had regular season futures on them, and then they just went lights out from February on. The top 40 teams since February started.
Another exciting team is Tulsa. This is not a league known for its shooting, its 3-point shooting. Tulsa is. I mean, Tulsa, they have arguably the best offense in the league. Per KenPom, they finished number 1 in league play. They have shooters all over. I mean, Barnstable, St. Thomas transfer, David Green. They have a number of guys who shoot 40% from 3. Their offense is electric. Defense leaves a little bit to be desired. Wichita State, they do have elite size at the rim. Will Berg leads the charge there. Their D is legit. Giles is great. They can't really shoot, but they're good on the offensive glass, and they don't turn it over, which helps. And then the other top 4 seed is UAB, which this is in Birmingham, so do they have no chance? This is one of the most bizarre teams I've ever come across. They win every league road game, and they lose almost every league home game unless they're playing a dreg. They cannot shoot. One of the worst shooting teams I've ever seen in my life. That UAB makes zero sense to me other than they don't win at home, they win on the road. This is in Birmingham. I don't know. Any thoughts on the other 3 top 4 seeds?
Well, yeah, the UAB thing is funny. Like it's not actually at UAB's arena. So does it count as road UAB or away from home UAB? To your point, 2-7 at home in league play and 9-0 on the road. Like it makes no sense. I think for their last home game, Kennedy had them stay in hotels because he's like, I need them to feel like they're on the road, like they're trying desperately. Haslametrics got him 10th in the country in his away from home rating.
How are they not one? I got to talk to Eric about that.
Yeah, I don't know if it's like one of the top, if the top 10 or actual power conference teams or what. But yeah, UAB interests me. I really like Tulsa. I love watching them play. And I thought, after non-conference, I thought they were maybe going to roll through this league, but then North Texas tripped them up early and South Florida got them in an up and down game. South Florida actually swept them. So, and I wish if they had the other bye to the semi ahead of Wichita, I would probably pick Tulsa, but it just toughens the draw a little bit. I don't have immense respect for this Wichita State team. I'm surprised they got the 2 seed. They played really well down the stretch to get it. They did earn it. But I think Tulsa is pretty clearly better and would pick Tulsa to come out of that side of the bracket.
I tend to agree. By the way, I'll give you $100 if you guess who's number 1 in the away from home metric. It is not a power conference team. I would have never guessed this team in a million years.
Is it a SWAC team?
No, but I would have.
Okay.
It's not.
Okay. All right. I don't think I'm going to pull it. Who is it?
Just name one random team, non-high major.
Okay. Pick a conference. Sam Houston State. I know they were good against the spread.
No, it's Elon.
What? Okay. Sure. All right, Elon.
Random. Delaware was number 2. So UAB should be number 1. There's a lot of noise in that. But looking at the rest of the bracket, if you were trying to look at to find a long shot. We don't know what now prices obviously matter. The rest of the bracket, the two teams that have buys to the second round, you have Charlotte. I mean, no thanks. I need what do I need? Before I even start thinking about it, like 60 to 1. I wouldn't bet it, but like just to throw a number out there. I think they're like probably 2% to win this. And it's probably less. Like the no interest in Charlotte. North Texas, I need like 100 to 1. It they just they're the best defense in the league. I mean, yeah, I guess I should say for Charlotte, I need 100 to 1 at least. North Texas best D in the league. They play slow, but it's an absolute brick show on offense. I have no interest in either one of those teams.
Nope, neither do I. We haven't got there. There's one team I kind of like a flyer on. We haven't
I
gotten there
agree.
yet.
There's one we haven't got to yet. Top half, you have Tulane will play Memphis again. Memphis just beat them in overtime to end the 7-game losing streak. Jim can't try to come on the podcast a month ago to tell Memphis to win the league. They almost
The
missed
timing
top
of that was so bad. It's so bad.
Memphis is a mess. I mean, maybe you can make a Tarleton argument for them with their talent. They play fast. They can force turnovers. But here's the thing: they've been this bad, and no one can make a three against them. In league
Yeah,
play,
and
teams are shooting like 29%.
And I don't think this Memphis team's that talented. Like it's Doug McDaniel, Aaron Bradshaw has pedigree, and I guess Sincere Parker, but then like
I mean, but they have more talent than Tulane, Charlotte,
yes,
UAB, right?
yeah,
So I'm saying
they
like,
had the yeah.
but it, when I saw against USF, they ain't beating USF after fourth game in 4 days. So I will not be betting Memphis. Tulane, it's Rowan Brumball and zone. That's basically all you need to know about Tulane. In the bottom half, you have Temple, who's really, really bad slide to end the year. They fell off a cliff. I can't really figure them out. And then you have FAU, who is the team I am potentially interested in. Do you agree?
Yep, same one. Yep. If they get Vanterpool back, I wish he would have played the same as Miro Little for UCSB. If he had played a game before the tournament, I'd feel a little better. I believe his dad's getting talked about for which job is it? I can't remember. Maybe St. Bonaventure. And so like there's I don't know, there's whispers he might like portal to go play for his dad if he ends up at the Division I level. But regardless, that team is a lot of talent in the backcourt. Cannon Carlisle kind of shut me up this year. He was actually good after 2 horrendous years at the Power 5 level.
And they were bad without him. They missed him dearly. So he was out for a while. Then he came back. And then Vanterpool, who's super important, he got hurt. When they were at full strength, like this would have been, you play out this conference 100 times. This is a top 4 seed more often than not.
Absolutely. I mean,
yeah.
like their complementary guys are Maxim Logue was at Oregon State. Isaiah Elohim was like a top 100 recruit at USC. Devin Williams was at UCLA. Like they did a really good job of kind of trying to rescue some talent, and more or less kind of worked. They just had injuries, and like the whole late January, early February stretch where they swooned was because guys were out. And if they can get Vanterpool back and be fully healthy, then yeah, I mean this team's good, and they've got like one of the best freshmen in the league, Josiah Parker too, who's finally in the starting lineup now.
Half would be you start with Temple, then you play North Texas, and they should have won at North Texas. They lost by 1, had like multiple chances to win that game, and they were shorthanded. Then they would play Tulsa, Wichita before USF. I mean, it's a daunting gauntlet where they have to win 5 games in 5 days.
Yeah,
So,
I wish we had a price. Do you like what do you make it? Or what do you make them? I know we like the bracket just wrapped up, so for anybody listening, it's like hard to have all the calculations done on it and everything. But
so
that's why the book's
yeah, I got to
now.
figure out what I want to rate them at, which is going to be the key. Like the same thing with Tarleton, like, and then UCSB. Like, where do I rate them now that they're healthy, but like the sample size isn't great, and then you just have a guy just coming back. So, and we don't know if Vanderbilt's going to play. Like last week, Jake has said, yeah, we want to try to get him run on Saturday, which he didn't end up playing. But he hasn't been moving laterally yet, and that was on Friday. But the boot is off, so I don't know. And then now you have to. They really want. They were close to. They had a chance like the last week to get a double bye, which would have been huge. It would have been all over them.
And then they got smashed by Wichita on the road.
Yeah, I don't know. I have a feeling the price is not going to be friendly. Like I'm trying to price it out really quickly.
Yeah, because you're going to need something really good for 5 and 5 days, assuming they have to go through North Texas, and then at least they're not on South Florida's side, but South Florida only has to win one game to get to the title game, so they'll probably see them.
Now they did go to overtime with South Florida. It was the first game back for Carlisle. It was an awesome game. It was at home, back and forth. Could have went either way. Like they
Yep.
played with them. It was one of the best games I've watched this year.
Yeah, I was dialed for my South Florida regular season future, and was very sweating till the end of that one.
Uh, I don't know. Can we get a 50 to 1?
I would think that's reasonable for 5 and 5, and
I
for
just don't
not
know if we're gonna
being
get it.
that highly rated. Yeah,
It'll probably be like 30 to 1, which I don't know if I can do.
yeah, that's eats into the value quite a bit there.
So
I don't know. I'm not too worried about like the Temple game first. I don't know. Maybe I should be a little more worried about it, but they won on the road at Temple the only time they played this year. So I don't know. Perhaps there's. Oh no, they swept them. They did play at home also, and it was a close game. So perhaps I should be a little more worried about that one. But again, they were shorthanded. They didn't have Vanterpool in the second game.
yep. Yeah, it's I don't know. With the uncertainty with Vanderbilt having won 5 games in 5 days, South Florida is probably going to be in the final. It's tough. I might maybe run like a money line rollover, and then if Vanderpool's in, um, I'll have to price it out. I really have no idea where they're going to price them. Like I have zero clue. Um, what number would you bet? Would you bet 50 to 1 for some change?
Yeah, I think so. I'd probably throw. I don't know. Yeah,
And couch
couch
change
change.
on.
That's not. It's not a unit. That's for
No,
sure.
no. Yeah, I guess. All right, picks. I'm going to say South Florida wins it and is a threat to upset someone. Um, I'm going to say in the Big West, I'm going to stick to my guns with Santa Barbara. Could they upset someone? Yeah, I mean they have the shot making. Defense, they got to get the right matchup. Uh, and then in the WAC, one other thought on the WAC. Is it 100%, the last thought of this, is it 100% confirmed that Utah Valley is going to play in this?
I think yes. It just recently became
But like, there's no
100%
way it can
official.
get denied now. Like,
I don't think so. I think that like the TRO, the temporary restraining order, extends through the duration of the tournament, so they can't just like pull the plug on them right before. God, that'd be ridiculous. I guess whoever is playing them the previous round and beats them, would they just get a bye if they just pulled the plug on Utah Valley?
if they did it before the tourney, everyone would just move up a seed. That they would scrap. I think that's what they said.
Okay.
Um, conspiracy theorists, whack refs them out of the game.
Yeah. So
Is that
the
worth the
whack
consideration?
refs on the payroll to just make sure they're not the representative.
Yeah,
I could see it.
as
That's
they're
fun.
leaving.
Yeah.
But I'll say it's the WAC. I don't know. I'll say Utah Valley wins it. And I do not think they're a threat in the tournament. And yeah, how about you? Who your picks to win, and then do you think if whether or not you think they're a threat?
I'll pick Irvine in the Big West. Not like bettable value where it's at, but I think they could beat somebody just because of their size and the defense. Like if somebody can't
Can they
really
score
shoot that
enough
well,
though?
it's going to have to be a disgusting slot fest. They'd probably have to get a couple guys to make shots more than it's matchup dependent too. If the other team can shoot and doesn't need to score at the rim, then they've got a better chance. But if they're playing like a rim reliant team,
That's what
they
happened
can
when
really take that away.
I love that. One of my biggest bets of the first round of my life was when they played Kansas State. And remember when Irvine played Kansas State
Oh yeah, it's
first
like was
round?
was Dean Wade hurt or was I can't remember if that's the year. Yeah, Dean Wade missed the tournament. And it was
Yeah,
like a
and they are
huge
a
thing.
They were completely rim reliant offense. It
Yep.
was like the perfect matchup for Irvine. So if Irvine is going to be like a 14, probably. I mean, we're getting bad. We like UNC Wilmington went down, Navy went down. It's getting ugly at the bottom.
Yes, it is.
So I mean, there's a chance that they're a 13. Um, so 13, 14. Like if
Yeah, looking at it like the four seeds at bracket matrix: Alabama, Virginia, Texas Tech. Like that's too much shooting for Irvine. That's bad news.
yeah, the problem is you want to be like a if you can get up to yeah, it's going to be hard to get any upsets. Like the top five seeds are very good, and then it's like the six through eights, nine are all the six and sevens are all like your vulnerable group.
Yeah,
So like you want to get up to like that 11, 12 range. So I don't know. They could be like a 13. I don't know which four I would pick them against.
just pray Carolina goes on a run in the ACC and gets a four with no or, with no Wilson.
What about St. John's?
They're
That's
vulnerable.
not
I
the
mean,
worst matchup.
yeah, St. John's is like they're so good with shot volume, with turnovers and
St.
rebounding,
John's would
but
turn Irvine over a million times. That's the only problem.
yes, they would. I was joking about that with somebody in our Discord today about Queens because they turned it over a billion times in the ASUN final. It's like if they were to play St. John's somehow, if Queens got like a 14 against a 3 or a 13 against a 4, it'd be a slaughter.
Queens will be probably a 15.
I would be interested in betting the 2. I'll say that.
Unless it's, you know who would let them hang around is UConn because UConn lets anyone hang around randomly.
Very true.
Um,
Okay, so sorry, yeah, back to the WAC. My pick, I'm gonna go with Utah Valley as well. Don't really think they're a threat to beat anybody. They need like one more guard, especially if Hendrick's out and they don't have the shooting there.
yeah,
That's so not there. And then in the American, I'm gonna say Tulsa wins and goes on the mini run there. Not sure what price. I'm not sure if it'll be bettable, but I really like that offense, and I'm kind of pumped that Conkle actually got them rolling again because they were terrible for a couple of years.
so bad. Yeah, they're fun. You want to watch a fun team that can shoot. Uh, check out Tulsa. All right, it would be fun. Tulsa would be what a because South Florida is probably gonna be like an 11 if they
Yeah,
win. Tulsa would be a
I think like a
13,
12,
12,
12
13.
probably. Yeah,
Tulsa, Alabama.
that game, that game would light up scoreboards and power cities.
Yeah. All right. Good stuff, Mr. Root. That'll do it for us. Thanks to Jim and Kai for joining me. Thanks to our producer David on the back end. Most importantly, thanks to all of you for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe, unsubscribe, tell a friend, tell an enemy. Part 5 is also out. I did that earlier today with Greg and Christian. We covered ACC, CUSA, Big 12, and some others. And then we'll finish the rest tomorrow. Appreciate everyone following along. Try to put in as much time and effort to get these as good as they possibly can. But we appreciate all of you who make the podcast. Make sure you check out Jim Root on Twitter and all the good work he does for Basket Review and Three Man Weave. Always great outlets, especially in March. But thanks again to Jim. Enjoy the madness. Catch y'all later. Cheers.